Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second Technology Tuesday session. This one is specifically about virtual communication and collaboration tools. My name is Paige. If you haven't met me yet, I'm in the front office on Mondays and Tuesdays. You should have access to this additional module piece, which has all of our course information, the course series description, and our learning objectives. And the goals for this session is to cover how to use Zoom and general access for Zoom, use of Skype, access for Skype, as well as Google Hangouts. And normally if you do this session in person, we'll have an opportunity to do some practice time together and troubleshoot. But after reviewing this recording, feel free to test it out yourself. And if you have any questions or anything pops up for you, we can cover that together. But I'll first start kind of with like a funny icebreaker, and you can kind of think of a funny Zoom moment. We'll go over Zoom, have our break if you want to take a break, and then jump onto Skype and Google Hangouts. And then you have an opportunity to practice. That's our agenda. So for the icebreaker, I was hoping if we were in person, you all could share your name and kind of like a virtual oops moment. I know after COVID, a lot of people had to go onto an online platform, and because people weren't used to normal virtual etiquette, there were a lot of funny stories that kind of came along with that. And here's one that I thought was particularly funny, so I'll share it with you.
Goodbye. All right. Talk to you guys soon. See you guys. Oh no. Oh, didn't call him. Oh my gosh. Well, takes a couple pictures of that. Oh. Oh boy.
What's up?
No.
So that's a perfect example of when you're not comfortable with being online and stopping your video and ending meetings, what could happen? So our first one we're going to jump into is Zoom. I'm actually using Zoom to record this. So you'll be able to see some of the aspects of it while I'm sharing my screen. Right now I'm just sharing two documents. But what is Zoom? It can hold up to 1,000 participants. It's probably one of the platforms that can host the most compared to other platforms. Ultimately, only 49 individuals can appear on the grid, so that's the little picture in the frame. So when you have really large groups of people, eventually it just adds you as a participant. But you don't need an account for access, which is really nice, especially for companies and for big events. They can just simply call, or they can jump in using the meeting ID or the link, and there's a online client, that's what they call it, where you just download the client host access point and it'll give you access without having the application itself. But downloading the application on either your phone or your computer or laptop, gives you a lot more maneuverability and just access ease. So I highly recommend it, even if you don't use it a lot, but you join some meetings, just to download it, and I can show you that. Oh, and just like a kind of funny thing too, for those who are worried about, security and privacy, it's been said that Zoom encrypts your videos and your meetings, but I mean, they do give out that information. So, and also post-COVID, Zoom bombing was pretty frequent, and people would jump on those sessions kind of uninvited. But they fixed that supposedly. And creating a Zoom meeting, so you have to have a Zoom account and Zoom app in order to be a host. So if you want to do that at all, you'll need to download it. This is kind of what that platform will look like, which I'll show you when we get to that point. And joining Zoom, like I said, there's many different ways you can do it. This is one where you type in the join meeting ID. You can click join here. And then you can also click the link that you often will receive via email. And you just click that, or you can call, which that's usually in the meeting invite as well. So let's go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to share my desktop now. All right, so now that we can see my desktop, this is the Zoom application. We open that up. This is what it looks like. Right now I'm in a meeting, so I can't click new meeting. I can't click join either, but that's what that looks like. And I can also schedule meetings here. This is what the schedule meeting looks like. You can choose what kind of calendar you want the meeting invite to go on. You have some advanced options like muting participants upon entry, automatic recording the meeting. This meeting I am recording. And you can also make sure that the host and participants have video, or even create a waiting room, which is basically the waiting room is so you have more control over who gets in. So earlier I'd mentioned that people would just randomly somehow get access to people's meetings and jump on. And so the waiting room kind of allows the host to control that environment and check to see who's coming in. And here you can kind of check the date and time, and you can decide if it's a reoccurring meeting, change the topic. But if you want to access more settings, I recommend going to the Zoom.us sign up. So this is what you would find by typing that in. You go to sign in Zoom. For me, it just jumps right in because I've saved my stuff on here. But for you, it would say sign up or sign in. I think, let's see if I go on the main page. So it would kind of look like this probably, but with like a sign in. Let's just sign up and see. Yeah, so this is your sign up. You would just put it here. But for me, I have already signed in, so I'm able to access it. So this is what it'll look like once you have your Zoom account. The online portion of it, not the app, gives you a little more access to everything. So you have all your upcoming meetings, which these are mine, any webinars, recordings. So this particular recording would be on here. And then these are the advanced settings. So this gives you far more options to go through than that list I went through with you for creating a meeting. And some important pieces is like the chat function is not automatic. You have to actually go into your settings and turn it on. You can also embed passcode in your invite link. You can ensure that only authenticated users can join. There's waiting room settings, video settings, audio settings, like an unlimited amount of settings. Whiteboard, I actually just added this. This looks kind of cool. I want to mess around with that. Annotation, which that's, I think, pretty helpful. Zoom meeting reactions. So you could do like smiley faces and whatnot. So if you don't want people to speak, but you want them to react, like a thumbs up, they can do that. Actually, I might be able to do that still. Maybe, maybe not. I can mess around with it later. We'll see. And you can also set up your virtual backgrounds. You can add more photos. And it keeps going. There's so much in here. Definitely, if you download it, look through it, see what you would like. I recommend finding the chat one because that's really helpful for a lot of folks. So that is Zoom. Oh, and here's a reaction button. So this is an example. I can clap. And this for you would be on the bottom of your Zoom screen. Up, hearts, all kinds of fun stuff. Party. It's pretty cool. I really like it. And I find it really helpful. Let's jump back into our okay. So here you can go ahead and take a break if you'd like, or we can continue. I'm going to continue, so press pause if that's what you would like to do. So our next platform is Skype. So what is Skype? It's a free program where you can call friends or family from a computer or mobile device. They also have Skype for businesses, which that usually has a cost, a monthly cost per user. I think back in the day when the business I worked for had it, it was like $8 per person. And then some features also come at a cost, which I've included a link to this rates page here. And you'll have access hopefully to this PDF of the PowerPoint and the module as well, so you can reference those. But yeah, Skype basically allows you to chat over a live video chat. They use something called VoIP, which transmit your voice over the internet, and it allows phone calls, video calls, group calls all over the internet. And if you want to call like using landlines or cell phones, that's the part that costs money, and that kind of ranges a bit. So setting up and using Skype, you'll need a compatible device like a desktop, laptop, mobile device, smartphone, or tablet. This is kind of like what the sign-in would look like. You'll definitely need high-speed internet. You'll need some speakers and a microphone. You'll need that for Zoom as well. You'll need that pretty much for anything. You don't have to have a webcam. I know a lot of places, depending on what you are doing, prefer to see your face, but a lot of people tend to just call in. And the way to get Skype is you navigate to this web link, web.skype.com, and you create a new account. And you'll just follow the directions from there. Before jumping into Google Hangouts, I'm gonna stop sharing that. And share my desktop again. And you should be able to see that. So for Skype, I already downloaded the app. I went to my app store because I have a Mac. You literally could just go on Google Chrome and type in Skype, download, and download Skype free calls chat app. And then you'll get for me Skype for Mac. It knows I have a Mac somehow, which is kind of creepy, but I'm sure it'll pull up the one that you need to. Here you go. A defaulted Mac, but you would get it for Windows, I imagine, unless you have Linux. And from there, it'll walk you through the whole download process. And then you should have something like this, where you click it, you sign in, and you have access to your chat feature. Apparently, I had a happy hour in 2020. You can have the call feature. So I have a bunch of people in this listing that you can add, and you can add new folks to it, to your contact list, and then any notifications or chats that pop up. But it has the same features. You can just easily, like I could do a meet now, host meeting, continue. Meeting with Paige is ready. I can just start my meeting. I don't even have to I would share this link and invite other people. I could just have my Skype contacts all join, or I can do share invite where I copy the link, send in an email, send it Outlook, over Facebook. So lots of options there. And I can choose a background effect too, which is kind of cool. So same features actually as Zoom, which is pretty cool. And it shows my mic working. I'm not going to start a meeting because I'm wondering if that might be too much for my computer, having two meetings run at once, but that would be your option there. So that is that piece. Let's jump back into this PowerPoint. And so our last virtual collaboration tool that I wanted to share with you all is Google Hangouts. A lot of nonprofit organizations use this. They use Google Drive and all the Google Docs and stuff because it's free. It's basically on their huge background database, internet thing, whatever you want to call that. And it's just really accessible. It's very easy to use. You would go to https://hangouts.google.com, create a Google account. If you don't have one, you can make phone calls, send messages, all features of Skype, but free. And this is a video that I will let you watch.
Everyone, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Hangouts. Everyone, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Hangouts. And Google Hangouts has three primary features. You can use it to send text messages using photos as attachments, just like any other text message app. You could use it to video chat. That's probably the most useful option. You could have 10 people in a room for video chatting. It's great for holding small classrooms or meetings. And you could also make phone calls with it. So you could actually use someone's phone number. And for US and Canada, it's actually free to do that. And if you're making international calls in different countries from country to country, there might be a small fee attached to making phone calls. But you could also video chat for free and have the microphone turn on and the video turn off. So you could do voice calls that way. There are also apps for Google Hangouts on Android and iOS. In this video, I'm not going to focus on those at all. I'm going to focus on the website version of Google Hangouts that everybody has access to without having to download an app. I'll make a separate video for the app version, and I'll put it in the description below this video. Now, the easiest way to go to Google Hangouts is by going to hangouts.google.com and make sure you log into your Google or Gmail account. Now, if you don't have one, you should make a Google account. this does require you to do that. So once you do that, you will come to this page. You could also press these squares over here and all the Google services show up here. So you could drag Hangout right here to somewhere near the top of where you would use that app most of the time. So you could just press that and then that will bring you to this page right here where I'm at. This is also available on the side of Gmail, but I like to just come over here. It makes the process a lot easier than using it inside of Gmail. This is where you would see it on Gmail when you go to gmail.com, for example, where you could add contacts, have conversations and phone calls right here on the side. But for this video, I'm gonna focus on hangouts.google.com. So the three main features, video calls, phone calls, and messages are what I'm going to cover here one at a time. We'll start with messages. Now, if you press messages, you will get this sidebar here, and you could enter name, email, or phone number to start a message. So I'm gonna go ahead and type a name here. You could also start with a group if you want to add multiple people, but you could always add people after you invite one person. So I just typed someone's name here. Again, if you know their email or phone number, it's a little bit easier. If they're not on Hangout already, it will send them an invite to join Hangout. And if they don't show up on Hangouts, means they've never used Hangouts before, you'll have to type in their email here if you don't see them on the search bar here. But in this case, I do, so I'm going to go ahead and invite this person. And that will initiate this box right here where I could start my chat on the bottom. So let me say hello here, and they responded right there. So that's how you would initiate a text-based message conversation. And you could press the plus sign up here if you wanted to add more people and turn this into a group. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel. And you could press this to video chat with this one individual. I'm gonna show you that under the video call, but to initiate it under the message that's over here, I'll show you all about that in a second. You could also on the very bottom, press this option right here, the photos option, and you could access your web camera or upload photos here, or from your photo library, you could send it from anywhere and it will pop up in this message box. So let me go ahead and send a photo. And as you can see, just like that, they've received the photo when I pressed enter. So now let me show you the video call. And then lastly, I'll show you voice call. So if I press video call here, it's gonna initiate a video call, but it's different from this chat call. So I'll still have to initiate a conversation and invite someone or send them a URL here. So again, I'll invite Jordan here one more time and I'll press invite. Now this is different than this chat box here. They're gonna have to agree to join me in the video chat. And it looks like they joined me. Hey. And here, the few things I wanna show you is I could go ahead and turn off my camera here. So my camera is gone, I could still see them. I could go ahead and mute myself. I just muted myself, now they can't hear me, but they could still see me. Or I could do the combination of the two, and I could hang up in the center. I could also press this on the left side to send them a message, and everybody on this call, if I added more people, will receive that message. And on top, if I press this plus icon, I could add more people and turn this into a group hangout. And then you have some settings over here, like sharing your screen or going full screen. I'm gonna go ahead and hang up. See ya. And that will end the call, the video call right there. So now that's the main thing people use this for, to have up to 10 people in that world. If you want to do more than 10 people, another option is using a software called Zoom at zoom.us. That will let you have up to 100 people and up to 1,000 people with the paid version.
Yep.
Let me finally show you the phone call option. Let me press that one. And again, it's the same thing. Every time you press one of these, it will have you create a new conversation. If you didn't want to do that every time, in one of these options, you could just go ahead and video chat as part of the message. But for phone calls, let me start a new conversation. Again, every time you want to do that, it will be on this side. You could also press the plus sign, and it's going to show you how to sign up for a Google Voice number too, if you don't have a phone number to start
Google
with.
Voice is really
So
great.
again, let me type out Jordan's phone number here, and I'll call him. And I'll go ahead and call that number. And over here is calling. And now I'm calling a cell phone in the US. So this is going to be free for me. And it's going to tell you right here, but some other international calls might charge you a little bit of money. Hey, can you hear me? Okay, so this phone call works. I could mute myself again. I could hang up here. Or I could press some of these settings to change my microphone. Now, if you're using this for the Hangout option with the video, or if you're using this to teach or hold meetings, I recommend getting a mic like I have here. I'll put a link to this in the description below. You can pick this up. It's a USB mic, and it makes your audio sound a lot better. I'm using it right now to record this video. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel, and see you later. I'll hang up this call. And finally, the few options I haven't talked about yet. If you press these three dots, again, you could see all the things that we went through here, like adding contacts, conversations, phone calls. But there's also apps here you could download. So you could do Android or iOS, and you could basically have people on the Android or iOS app communicate with you on this browser version of Hangout. So it's a really nice way to kind of cross communicate between different devices. And I'll make a separate video about the iOS version of this Google Hangouts. Now, I hope one of the features of Google Hangout could be beneficial for you. Please give this video a thumbs up.
So that is Google Hangouts. I thought he did it much better than I could have done it. But for all of these, mind you, I recalled that, I mean, for the most part, when you're sharing them, you'll want to either share the links that you create over email or send calendar invites with these because they're time blocks. So most people, if they have a calendar and within their email account, it'll automatically update within that. So, and those are all things we can practice. If you cannot figure it out, just come in, we'll walk through it together.
Everyone,
And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This was mainly just to kind of empower you to begin looking into different platforms that you might be interested in testing out. So continue practicing, ask any questions. If you have any feedback about this virtual session, let me know. And generally we have a survey when we do the in-person session. So this would provide you an opportunity to give me verbal feedback. But if you're interested, remember we do have these sessions on select Tuesdays. And then on the Tuesdays that we do have the sessions, we have an open session from 5:30 to 6 p.m. And this is all in the common room. So that front room where you reload your laundry card, and feel free to come in. All residents are welcome to come into our open session from 5:30 to 6, and not just people who have signed up and are interested in doing the more like small group sessions that are focused on specific things. And so any questions you have about anything, feel free to come in for that. That is it. Thank you so much for joining me for this session, and I hope this was helpful for you to get started on finding some collaboration tools that work for you. Thanks. Bye.